Well, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. Jiu-Jitsu 2000 here today. I'm back. I hope you're doing fantastic out there. In this video today, we have an offering from TopBull. This is their Rocky 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter. Now I'm out here in the shed because it's really windy outside. I'm going to go ahead and open this up and take a look. This is a nice unit. I've been playing with it a little bit off camera, and this is a nice unit. So you get the little packing slip here. Everything comes packaged very well. There's this little packet. We'll talk about that. And then let's go ahead and pull out the inverter and set the box back. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the user manuals. So this is a look at the user manual. Starting on the first page, you got some important safety instructions, general safety information. There's some inverter safety, battery safety, and feel free to pause your screen at any time during this portion. There's going to be a lot of information here that I'm going to be showing you. So I'll get through this fairly quickly. Nice thick user manual. There's a page that shows the contents of the user manual. General information here on the unit. This is a pure sine wave inverter. I'll talk about pretty much everything that you see in this manual here in the video today. Now, as you can see, they have three different models that are pure sine wave. We're going to be on this 3000 watt unit right down the middle. We're going to hook it up to 12 volt today. So very nice. And then of course there's a little bit more technical parameters there in case you want to read any of that. Let's move on. This is giving us a description of the panel showing us the power inverter. And there it talks about the fans a little bit, talks about hooking up the wires, and then right there, that's something that we want to take a note of. That's going to give us all the icons and what each one of them means. So very cool. And then of course it talks about installation of the unit, location recommendations. Very nice user manual here. I'm liking this. They give you a lot of good information here. Talks about sizing your battery bank, and then there's some nice formulas that you can use if you're trying to figure out how big of an inverter you need, how many batteries you need, things like that. So very, very cool. We're almost done, folks. Hang with me. This talks about operation of the unit. Very nice. I always like going through the user manuals. I know some people think that that's a bit boring, but in the event that there's somebody out there that needs this information, that's why I do this. Just in case there's somebody out there that needs this information. So here we have some solutions on the back here, and that's pretty much it for the user manual. So the first thing that we see right here is a 20-foot cable, and what this is this is a remote switch, so you can turn the inverter on and off. This side right here connects to the inverter, and this is the switch. It turns on and off, and it's very simple. You can tell very easily if it's on or off because it's either flush or it'll be recessed. So the next thing that we see in the bag here is a little bag full of 30 amp fuses. Now I think there was 12 of them. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, there's 12 fuses, and they're 30 amp fuses. These are the wires that you would use to connect the power inverter to your battery. Now, a 3000 watt inverter, I would suggest maybe a size 2 wire, but these are number 10s, so you get red that has 2 number 10s, and then you get another red that has 2 number 10s. So you would get 4 number 10s for the positive, and 4 number 10s for the negative. Now I will say it's actually kind of nice because these wires are very flexible and it still accomplishes that big thick wire that you need without making it hard to bend these. These are extremely easy to flex around and route them where you need to. So again, you don't want to use just one set, otherwise they'll get too hot and possibly burn up. You want to use both of them. Now having separate wires like this gives you the chance that they will stay cooler as well, because you've got 4 different number 10 conductors on each one. So it's very, very cool. Now these are plenty long to run your power inverter. So we're right there, we're going all the way and right there. So they're 21 inches long. Not too bad. Now at the time of me filming this video, this retails for $249. However, you can apply a $40 coupon code. And that's fantastic when you're dealing with a 3,000 watt pure sine wave inverter. They do have other models. So they have a 2,000 watt, they got a 4,000 watt, and they also had a really cool MPPT solar charge controller that they offer as well. So you can run 3,000 watts for 1 hour. Now this thing does peak at 6,000 watts. So that is fantastic. Let's go ahead and take it out of this plastic. You can see that the unit comes packaged very well. It's not some lightweight little unit. It's got a little bit of beef to it. So right here you can see the back side. We're looking at dual fans, and these are the terminals which we would plug in our wires. Here's a top look. This is all aluminum. So very cool, 3,000 watt TopBull, cool little logo, and then pure sine wave inverter right there. It does have these points here, so if you set it down, you can run screws and secure it to all different kinds of locations. So if you're in a van, or maybe you want to put it up against the wall, the only thing that I would suggest though is to determine which way the air blows out of these fans. Some inverters suck air in and some blow air out. So what you want to do, if you're going to mount it, like say for example vertical like this, you want to make sure that the airflow is coming up. In other words, if these are sucking air in, you would never want to mount it like this because it would be counterproductive in cooling. So make sure that you hold a little piece of string or something right there when the fans kick on and verify that the air is going this way or that way. Right here you have the 2 duplex receptacles, you have a USB charging port, and you have a USB Type-C, and you have the on-off switch, and this is where you would connect the remote, and then there is your LCD screen. So it's a very simple looking unit, built very well, looks pretty solid. This unit is compatible with most batteries. So you can use AGM batteries, you can use flooded lead acid batteries, gel batteries, sealed batteries, or in our case today, we're going to use a lithium iron phosphate battery. Now, one of the things that some of you might not know, why it's so important to get a pure sine wave inverter, that's because they have a pure waveform. It's not a messy electricity. It's very clean. It's a heavy duty type inverter here, 3,000 watts. And sine wave is more efficient when you're going to be using sensitive electronic devices. So if you're going to be running computers or, you know, televisions, or maybe it's medical equipment like a CPAP machine or something like that, a sine wave inverter is a lot better, cleaner electricity for those type of applications. They have these little threaded parts here. These little nuts, if you will. You just thread those, take those off, and then these covers lift straight up. So you just take these little nuts off and the covers lift straight up. Take off the nut, the lock ring, and the flat washer. So we got that. And then we'll go ahead and put both the positives, just like that. Put the flat washer. Make sure that everything is flat, that they're not laying on top of each other where they can't make good contact. You want a very, very good contact point here. You want all the energy to go through these wires, and you can't do that unless they're flat and installed correctly. This unit does have a lot of protection systems. It has 7 different protection systems. It's got leakage protection, it's got under voltage protection, over voltage protection, overload protection, short circuit protection like I mentioned. It has reverse polarity protection as well as overheat protection. So this unit has lots of protection systems. Okay, I'm noticing something that I want to make note of. If you're going to try to put this cover on and the wires are like this, it won't go over because they're too wide. If you can't get these on, at the bare minimum, just go ahead and put these on, because that will actually stop something from short circuiting. Because you have something, even though you don't have it all, you got something, and that's better than nothing. Now, before you connect these positives to the positive terminal on the battery, you want to make sure that you have this switch in the off position. So have it down, not up. If the inverter is turned on and you go to plug this in, it's going to make a lot of sparks and possibly try to be running the inverter while you're making this connection. Now, the sparks are actually normal when you're making this connection because you're charging capacitors in the inverter. So you saw that I put the bolt in there. That's so I can tap this and get the spark out of the way. Now that the capacitor is ready for it, I can take this back out and make my actual connection. It is perfectly normal to see a spark when you make that connection. Now, if you're seeing your unit spark more than just that one spark, make sure that the unit is turned off. If it's on, it'll be trying to run and stuff, and you don't want that. Okay, now that we have the unit connected, we can go ahead and turn it on. You can hear the fans, and I can definitely tell that the air is blowing out that way. I can feel it. So that's good to know. From here, you can see the indicators showing the fan running. I'll get you a closer view of that here in a second of this display. So there's a look at that display. I'm trying to get rid of the glare. You can see the fan indicator here. Tells you the temperature, the battery voltage right here, and the voltage that we're producing, 111 volts, and then you can see sine wave inverter right there. So it's very nice, and you can see the fan went off. So we're going to start off with a small heater. We're going to just plug this little heater in. We're going to turn it on. You can see that the heater is running. So that little heater is pulling 230 watts. Not too bad. When I turn it off, look at that. Let's see how long it takes to zero out. Right there. Now it's done. This next one is a pressure cooker. So I got a little bit of water in there. Got a trivet in there. So we'll plug this into the power inverter. Put the little lid on right here. And this is really nice. These Instant Pots work good. So you can cook dinner or whatever you want. And it's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and turn this on. We're going to go ahead and pressure cook 25 minutes, and let's turn the heater on too. Boom, we got 2 devices. Let's take a closer look at them numbers, see what we got here. So you can see the heater's running, and now the pressure cooker's starting. Look at the numbers. 883 watts, 876, 871. I like that. And we're just running a heater and a 3-quart Instant Pot simultaneously. No problems at all. It's doing just fine. But I really wish that the remote cable would have had a screen on the end of it giving us that data. That would have been really, really nice. That this unit has a low energy consumption when it's in no load mode. And what that is that prevents power loss and greatly improves the utilization of your battery. So when this thing is in no load mode, it draws less than 12 watts just to be on standby. That's fantastic. That would be like charging a couple cell phones. So it's not going to draw much just to sit there being turned on. That is very, very nice. The dimensions of this unit, it is 14.57 inches long. It is 9.06 inches wide and 3.86 inches tall. So it's not that big of a unit. It does have 3 different abbreviated systems that it has. It has automatic voltage regulation system. They call that AVR. It has intelligent fan control system. They call that IFC. And it also has intelligent power management system, or IPM. So it does have those 3 things. Now, if you want to talk briefly about the components inside of this unit, it does have a high frequency transformer inside, and that's really nice. The cables that we're using that are connected to the battery are 100% copper. I'm filling them and I don't feel any heat or anything. They are still cool to the touch. Once this thing comes up to pressure, the numbers here will drop drastically because it won't be heating that element anymore once it's pressurized. So we're just kind of waiting for that to happen. So there's a lot of applications that I can think of where you would use an inverter like this. Maybe you're a van lifer and you want to put this in your van and go off the grid and provide power in your van to run your television, charge your gadgets, do stuff like that. Or maybe you want to put one in your shop and have some power in your shop to run your, power tools and stuff like that. 3,000 watts continuous is a lot of power. And I'm just using a small 100 amp lithium phosphate battery and it's working just fine right now. Who knows, maybe you're in a van and you're going to be traveling across the country and you got your kids with you and you want them to have the ability to play their video game system or whatever in the back so that they're not driving you crazy driving down the road. You could have a unit like this and they could plug in their systems. Maybe you're on a sailboat or something and you want a unit like this to power all your stuff on your sailboat. Maybe you are in an off-grid situation in a tiny house or something and you want a unit like this. Or maybe you're a contractor and you're going from job site to job site and you want portable power to run your miter saw or something to build a house or trim out something. This would be a good unit for that. So there's a lot of applications for a unit like this. And there you can hear that the unit has came up to pressure. Now the wattage dropped down to 192 watts. That's fantastic. The only thing running off of it now is the little heater, and it's pulling this stuff with no problem. And I like that the fan's not kicking on with this load. This was a fairly good load, under 1,000 watts, but still the fan didn't kick on at that small of a load, and that's really nice. So now that we're pressurized, let's take a look at those numbers. Again, we still have the heater running. Let's go ahead and turn the heater off. And because we're up to pressure, let's see what happens here. Look, it dropped all the way down to 0 watts. Let's go ahead and plug this bad boy in and see if we can run this window unit. This thing has a little GFCI kind of deal. So we're plugged in. Now let's kick this thing on and see what happens. Can it run this window unit? Let's take a look. So we're going to kick it on. There's low fan, low cool. Let's just go on up to high cool and we'll crank it up all the way as high as it'll go. And then let's disconnect and take a look at those numbers. So there are the numbers. 978 watts. It's on high cool on the coldest setting. And it's working great. It's putting out a good amount of cold air. I'm really impressed. It's doing a really good job. On high cool and all the way up on max cool. That works really, really well. I'm impressed. Let's fill these wires. Yeah, they're cold to the touch. They're not even warm at all. I'm really enjoying this unit. It's doing a good job. And we will take this double burner and plug this in. Let's kick them both onto high, both burners, and let's see what happens. How many watts are we drawing? 1344 is what I'm seeing right now, 1344. So let's go ahead and add another one. I have a single burner right here. This one draws about 1,000 watts, if I remember correctly. So let's go ahead and plug this in. Get the wire out of the way, the cord, and we'll kick this on high. So let's see what happens. 2,000 watts, 2,200 watts. The battery is getting low is what I'm hearing. I'm hearing an alarm. Battery's getting low. No problem. It's giving me a warning, but it's still producing the 2,128 watts. The battery's getting too low for it. So let's get a bigger battery and try that. Let's go ahead and turn this off. We will install the switch here. This is really easy. This is keyed. It has a little flat spot cut out right here, and it only goes in one way. So we'll just spin it around until it finds the right orientation and then tighten this up. Very easy. Now we can turn it on and off here. Look at that. It kicks it on, kicks it off. Very nice. I like that. Okay, now we have a larger 300 amp lithium phosphate battery connected. Let's go ahead and turn on this unit. There we go. And we'll kick on all three of these burners to their maximum. And let's see what we got here. 2190, 2218, 2219. Take a look at these numbers here. 2216, 2217. That is fantastic. Hopefully you can see them numbers. That glare is bothering me. 2212. Very nice. You can see the battery is getting drawn down. This is a pretty heavy test. I wish I had more to plug into, but I only have 2 outlets. You know, you probably could plug in a power strip and run multiple things, but this is nice and hot. This is hot. Yeah, these are definitely warming up. There's no doubt about it. I just don't like that glare. 2200 watts, continuous. It's working just fine. No problems at all. So your heater, your pressure cooker, your window unit, and 3 different burners. This unit combined I think is 1,500, and this one's like 1,000. So what is that, 2,500? But it's doing a little bit less than that. But they are very hot. It's doing a good job. I like these big vents here on the front. They allow for airflow to come into the power inverter. And then on the back side, you can feel that fan. And I'm going to fill these wires. They are warm, but they're not hot. So they're working just fine. I can feel the flow of electricity going through them. 2187, you can see the heat. This thing is red hot. If I turn this light off, let's see what happens. Maybe you'll see the red hot. Look at that burner. That light's on. Both of those lights are on. These ones are cast iron. And all of these are hot. 2184. That's fantastic. It's doing a good job on this test. So folks, as far as my testing is concerned, I don't see anything wrong with this unit. I think it's doing great. It drew down that other battery. That's how much I ran these tests. So hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you're interested in this TopBull 3000 watt pure sine wave inverter, I will put a link in the description box down below. I want to say thank you to TopBull for sending this unit out for review. It is working very well for me. I'm happy with it. I can't really think of anything that it needs other than the things I mentioned in this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to leave your comments down below. Like this video, share this video, and until next time everybody, Have a beautiful day. We'll see you on the next one. I'm going to fill these wires one more time. They are just warm. They are not hot. Just warm. And when you're done, turn the power off just like that. We'll see you later, folks. Bye for now.